All right, sinners, question time. Are you addicted to being seen, or are you terrified of being unseen? When you post, are you sharing your life, or are you feeding comment corpses like it's a fucking aquarium? How many filters deep are you before your own face starts feeling like a stranger? And empowerment, is it freedom, or just branding with better lighting and worse self-respect?
And be honest, do you feel powerful or do you feel scheduled? Like your confidence has office hours, like you can't eat a pizza without proving you deserved it, like you can't be sexy unless it's approved by the anal manual of acceptable womanhood. Are you living or are you performing for content parasites who wouldn't piss on you if your phone died? For today's war declaration on feminism, yeah, you heard right, we have the perfect ultra-feminine guest with us.
To be honest, feminism is poison. Let me twist that knife a little. When you say, I'm doing it for me, do you mean you, or do you mean the algorithm version of you? Because the feed doesn't reward peace. It rewards panic, skin, and a caption that begs. And people call it confidence, when it's really just fear with lip gloss. If your self-worth drops when views drop, that's not empowerment. That's a subscription model.
Exactly. The selfie slut complex isn't a personality type. It's a symptom. It's what happens when your identity gets outsourced to strangers with dopamine thumbs. And then you start negotiating with yourself like, if I post this angle, I'm lovable. If I don't, I disappear. Who benefits from that loop? Not you, not your nervous system. Someone else is getting paid while you're busy being your own product.
And before some gatekeeping little saint starts crying, no, we're not here to police femininity. Dress slutty. Dress modest, dress like a haunted office printer. We don't care. We're here to dissect the machine that sells you a choice and then punishes you if you choose wrong. One day it's show skin queen, next day it's have some class. It's anal whiplash, and it's designed to keep you begging.
Which is why, today, we brought the perfect contradiction. We have the perfect guest for today's upcoming war declaration on feminism. Ultra-feminine, high gloss, high heels, and still somehow the most dangerous mirror in the room, Celeste Lightvoid. Welcome to the shit show, Glitter Babe.
Hi, and yes, I'm exactly what your brain thinks I am until I open my mouth. I'm office worker by day, stripper by choice, and I wear the fuckfluencer aesthetic like camouflage. People see cleavage and assume vacancy. Perfect. While they're busy underestimating me, I'm steering the room. Gloss is misdirection. Control is the point.
That's why she's here. Because she doesn't fall into the influencer look. She weaponizes it. She's not naive. She's calculating. She knows exactly how the validation economy works because she's watched it from inside the office and outside the club. And if you think that's contradictory, congratulations, you've discovered reality.
Also, Celeste is the type of woman who can smile like an angel and still make you question your entire personality in one sentence, which is great for us, terrible for your ego. So here's how this episode works. We're gonna talk selfie slut complex. We're gonna talk anal trends, like how everything has to be acceptable, marketable, palatable, and we're going to keep it real, not moral.
Rules of engagement. We're not here to shame women. We're here to shame systems, the ones monetizing insecurity, the ones selling feminism like a fucking energy drink, the ones turning freedom into a brand guideline. And sinners, drop your hottest takes in the comments right now. Feminism as brand versus feminism as freedom. Tell us where you think it got hijacked. We'll read some on air.
And don't play safe. The safe takes are always the emptiest. Tell us what you actually think when you're not performing. Tell us what you think when your phone's in your pocket and no one's watching. Because that's the only time you're not being trained.
Good. Next segment is where we step over the line everyone pretends is electric. That's where the controversial target gets named and the first shot actually lands. So stay right here, because in a minute, we're not just describing the machine. We're about to put our hands on the fucking gears.
All right, here's the part where people start clutching their pearls and their comment sections. Venomous Sin declares war on feminism. And before you start screaming like a triggered tantrumpet, not on women, not on equality, not on your right to exist without being treated like a fucking decoration. We declare war on the version of feminism that became a power addiction disguised as virtue. The clitocracy behavior The I'm right because I'm a woman card, the public shaming, the moral blackmail, the little online tribunals where accountability is just revenge with better hashtags. Metaphorical war, by the way. We're not coming for your throat. We're coming for your tactics.
Yeah, and if you're already typing misogynist with one hand and rubbing your cancelgasm with the other, breathe. The only thing we're killing is hypocrisy and Lena's patience, which, to be fair, has been dead since 2011.
And if you can't tell the difference between criticizing a tool set and hating women, that's not politics. That's a reading disability with lip gloss. Also, hi Chavi, you look annoyingly unreadable today, like a tax form in eyeliner.
Oh look, the glossy little chaos gremlin is already poking the bear. Cute. Anyway, men aren't innocent either. Men do their own gatekeeping, mobbing, manipulation, alpha bullshit. But today we're talking about feminism because it's culturally protected. It's got this halo. You criticize it and people act like you punched their grandmother in the throat. That protection makes it dangerous because it creates immunity. And immunity is where cruelty goes to get a fucking diploma.
Observation. Ideology plus immunity equals permission. Pattern detected. Directive. Name the tactic, not the tribe.
Exactly. The moment any ideology becomes a shield, it stops being liberation and starts being a weapon. And the weapon isn't women. The weapon is status. The weapon is, I get to harm you and you're not allowed to respond because optics. That's not equality. That's just a new uniform for the same old control freaks.
Radical feminism is a disease. Here's what I mean, because I know someone's gonna clip this and cry in 480p. It's a pattern. Ideology first. This is justice. Then permission. Therefore I'm allowed. Then cruelty, humiliation, coercion, reputation games. And then immunity. If you question me, you're the enemy. That's the disease, not your rights, not your freedom. The infection is when pain turns into a license to hurt people and call it healing.
It's the approved language part that makes it so addictive. You can say the cruelest thing alive as long as you wrap it in the right words. Safety, community, accountability. It's like a designer bag for bullying. And the platforms love it because outrage points are engagement points. If you're loud enough, you don't have to be honest.
Yeah, the anal manual effect. They don't need to think, they just follow the script. I'm empowered becomes an excuse to humiliate. Safety becomes a leash. Accountability becomes a hit list. And then everyone claps because it's in the approved vocabulary. It's like, congrats, you learned new words. Still a narcissist, though.
And I'm saying this as a woman who's been through real shit, real harm. Not someone disagreed with me on TikTok, so I'm traumatized. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend trauma makes you holy. Trauma explains behavior. It doesn't sanctify it. If you use your pain as a permission slip to be abusive, you're not healed, you're just decorated.
Confirmation. Trauma does not equal authority. Victimhood used as weapon equals weaponized virtue. Obsolete.
And the system incentivizes it. Attention economy, outrage loops, social media tribunals, virtue signal masturbation, trendfucktivism, call it whatever. The algorithm doesn't reward nuance, it rewards the loudest moral posture. So people learn to perform righteousness like it's a striptease, and then they call the applause justice.
Oh, it's absolutely a striptease. But instead of taking off clothes, they take off responsibility. Look at my identity. Look at my pain. Look at my purity. And if you don't clap, you're evil. It's not empowerment. It's a hostage situation with a cute font.
Now, our stance. Ruthless consistency. Freedom for everyone. No special immunity for anyone. Equality means equal accountability. If a tactic is abusive when a man does it, it's abusive when a woman does it. Shaming, coercion, reputation games, weaponized victimhood, same shit, different packaging. And I'm so tired of watching people pretend it's progress when it's just domination with better PR.
And the funniest part? The gatekeepers of good feminism act exactly like the worst men they claim to fight. Same mob tactics. Same, you're not allowed to speak. Same obsession with hierarchy. It's like watching two cults argue over who gets to be the moral dictator. My favorite genre, ideological incest.
Speaking of power games, Chavi, you're sitting there like you're immune to flirting, which is rude. I'm literally providing a live demonstration. Lena, are you taking notes or sharpening knives?
Celeste, sweetheart, you don't make me jealous. You make me entertained. There's a difference. You flirt to pull a reaction. It's not desire, it's leverage. You're testing boundaries and social dominance like it's a little office sport. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Empowerment theater. Girl power aesthetics while doing the oldest manipulation in the book.
And I stay unreadable because I refuse to participate in the script. That's the whole trick. The triangle dynamic only works if someone performs insecurity. Lena doesn't. I don't. So the only thing left is Celeste flirting into the void like a very pretty echo.
I hate that you're right. It's like trying to seduce a wall that speaks Swedish-Spanish sarcasm. But also, you see how fast the narrative shifts? If I say I'm just confident, people will cheer. If Lena calls it a power game, suddenly she's insecure. That's the scam. The narrative control. Whoever frames it first wins.
Exactly. What's being won isn't love. It's status, reaction, control of the story. And fuckfluencer culture is built on that. Selling empowerment while chasing validation and control. I'm doing it for me, but you melt down if the likes drop. That's not freedom. That's a subscription model with tits.
Status hunting detected. Reaction farming identified. Directive: do not feed the machine.
So, sinners, here's the uncomfortable question. When you see these tactics, do you reward them? Do you join the pile-on because it feels good to be on the right side? Or do you actually think, because the mob always feels righteous? That's why it's a mob.
All right, concrete directive, checklist time, because I want you to spot the disease without becoming the opposite extremist. Red flags, demands for immunity, punishment disguised as justice, identity used as authority, mobs used as community. If someone's whole argument is, believe me because woman, that's not equality, that's a shortcut to power. Green flags, consistent standards, due process thinking, willingness to be questioned without turning it into a witch trial.
And the week's war declaration is simple. Call out the tactic, not the gender. Refuse cancelgasm pile-ons. Don't reward manipulation with attention. If you want freedom, you need accountability. Otherwise, it's just the same control in a new costume.
And if you're scared to say it because you'll get socially executed, ask yourself why. If an idea can't be questioned, it's not liberation. It's religion with better makeup. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want the messy ones, the honest ones.
Yeah, comment section sinners. Tell us where you've seen justice turn into revenge. Tell us where you've seen empowerment become permission to be cruel. And next week we're going to talk about the mirror image on the other side too. So don't worry, boys. You're not getting a free pass. Venomous Sin doesn't do immunity. Venomous Sin declares war on immunity.
All right, sinners. Venomous Sin declares war on the phrase that hits like a lullaby but bleeds like a blade. I've got you. When love whispers that shit and then ghosts the second it costs something real. If your I've got you ends when the rent's due or the fight gets ugly, you didn't have anyone. You rented a fucking person until the invoice dropped.
Exactly. I believed that line once. Long-term loyalty, forever vibes. Partner swore it confident as hell, then packed their exit plan the moment it got hard. Worst wasn't the leaving. It was how they sold forever while sharpening the knife behind their back. You don't lose a person. You lose the idiot in you that trusted without exit clauses.
Ooh, Chavi, you paint such a vicious picture. Makes me want to test if you've really got us, like right now. Lean in closer. Your voice does that thing where it feels like a promise or a threat. Which is it?
Flirt away, Celeste. Lena doesn't get jealous. She gets bored with the script. And yeah, betrayal's the spike. Words hit sweet first, blood later. People ignore the signs because they crave the fairy tale. Only shows up for easy chapters. Not a partner, an audience buying tickets to your highlight reel.
Audience paying for the show until intermission. I've sold that illusion. Telemarketer sweet talk, escort whispers. I've got you is my opener. But when they bail on the bill, same pattern. Loyalty's not a vibe. It's dragging ass through the inconvenient shit when no one's filming.
Spot on, Noctera. Mine turned ride or die into ride till bored. Performative loyalty, weekend hero, weekday ghost. They don't want commitment, just a witness to clap their good person act. Believing isn't stupid. Selling safety then yanking the rug? That's the anal crime.
Chavi, ignore her venom for a sec. You've got that lord stare like you could back up every word with action. Bet you'd never rent out your got you. Makes a girl wonder, what did it take to earn the real version?
And that jealousy bait you're slinging, Celeste. Attention cosplay, flirt to provoke, watch the sparks. But I don't compete for what's mine. Bored of the game already. Loyalty tests in the quiet cuts, not the drama you crave.
She's right. Flirting's cheap power, needle under skin. I deceive for a living, seen it flip rooms. But real loyalty stays when it hurts, proves in the unglamorous grind. No spotlight, no applause.
Fine, you win this round, Chavi. But damn, that smirk. It's like you're daring me to keep trying. Lena, share him? Kidding, mostly.
Love without follow-through, just noise with a soundtrack. Call it convenience, not commitment. Leave when hard, own the cowardice.
Venom rule. Don't tell me you've got me. Show you stayed when every excuse screamed run. Promises without behavior, worthless as a filter on a knife wound. Sinners, your turn in comments. Ever rented love that bailed? Spill. Next, we crank the heat. Stay venomous.
All right, sinners, let's peel back the skin on something everyone thinks is personal expression, but is actually just a high-gloss hostage situation. We're talking about fashion trends. Most of you think you're choosing your look, but you're actually just picking a permission slip from a stack of approved anal uniforms. It's all swasta fashion in disguise. And I don't mean politics, I mean the coercive, grinding conformity of the vibe check. If you aren't wearing the exact shade of sad beige the internet told you was mature this week, you're out. It's not style, it's a membership fee for a club that doesn't even like you.
Chavi, you're so intense when you talk about rules, it's almost a turn-on. But you're right, beige isn't a color anymore, it's a moral position. It's the clean girl aesthetic, which is just code for I'm obedient and I don't have a single unapproved thought. The industry runs on your fear of being seen as too much, so you pay hundreds of dollars to look like absolutely nothing. A capsule wardrobe is just aesthetic rationing. But tell me, Chavi, do you think I look like nothing in this? Or is it just enough to make you lose your place in the script?
Celeste, honey, your gloss is sparkling, but your tactic is predictable. Put the claws away for a second. The point is that these must-have lists are just anal manuals for the insecure. They sell you timeless basics because they want you to be invisible. They want you to stay within the narrowest possible range of palatable. The second you step outside that, the gatekeepers start howling. They call you a poser or say your look is cringe, but the real poser is the one begging for a logo to tell them they're allowed to exist. My PVC and corsets aren't a trend, they're a war declaration against that beige compliance.
Exactly. Fashion gatekeeping is the same disease as music gatekeeping. It's just a different uniform for the same control kink. People pretend these rules about what's flattering for your body type or age are natural laws. They aren't. Flattering is just a polite way of saying hide the parts of yourself that make normies uncomfortable. It's a mechanism to punish anyone who doesn't match the digital template. Chavi doesn't buy it. I've been wearing the same black leather and metal since before half these trend fucktivists were born, and I'll be wearing it when their quiet luxury is in a landfill.
That's why I love being a fuckfluencer mirror, Chavi. I pass as mainstream to infiltrate. I use the executive glam look, the tight blouses, the high heels, the polished influencer cadence, to get into rooms where people assume I'm just a hollow filter cunt. Then I dismantle them. It's weaponized misdirection. If I'm polished, they say I'm fake. If I'm raw, they call me unhinged. I just profit off the contradiction. Like how I'm profiting off the way your pupils dilate when I lean in this close. Is the Lord of Venomous Sin feeling a little restricted by his own black leather?
Oh, look at the live demonstration. Celeste is using attention as currency right now. It's a social experiment, sinners. Notice how the narrative works. She flirts to pull a reaction, and if I snap, I'm the insecure girlfriend trope. If Chavi reacts, he's just a man. It's the same way people police fashion. They'll sexualize a woman in a microskirt and then shame her for being sexual. It's a double bind designed to keep you off balance. But here's the thing, Celeste. Ownership of the narrative is mine. I don't need to perform cool because I actually own my identity. Your flirtation is just a trend. My bond with Chavi is an original press.
And the flirt falls flat because it's a performance for engagement, not a connection. It's fashion flirting. It's a look, not a feel. People perform cool the same way they perform style, for approval. They're terrified of the cancelgasm that comes if they wear the wrong shoes or flirt with the wrong intensity. But when you exit the trend cycle, you realize the vibe checkers have no power. They're just comment corpses in expensive loafers. If you want to be unfuckwithable, you have to stop asking the anal manual for permission to get dressed in the morning.
So let's give them the anti-anal manual, Chavi. If you want to escape swasti fashion, you need 3 non-negotiables. For me, it's texture, silhouette, and attitude. If it's not black, if it doesn't cinch, and if it doesn't scream, fuck you, I don't wear it. I don't care if the clean girl look is trending or if elevated basics are the new religion. My look is intentional design, not trend submission. Being provocative is a choice. Being programmed is a tragedy. Spot the signals, sinners. If a brand calls it quiet luxury, it's just status policing for people who are afraid of their own shadows.
Fine. I'll take my weaponized gloss and play nice. For now. But sinners, Lena is right about one thing. The anti-anal manual is the only way out. Pick your 3 traits and stick to them until the feed hates you. That's when you know you've actually found yourself. If you're not making someone uncomfortable, you're just part of the furniture. Chavi, I'll let you have your unreadable Lord act for the rest of the segment. But don't think I'm not watching the way you adjust that necklace.
Checkmate. Sinners, your homework is simple. Find one thing in your closet you bought just because it was in and burn the fucking memory of it. Go to venomoussin.com, get some merch that actually stands for something, and stop being a brand mascot for companies that think you're a line item. Refuse the beige. Refuse the aesthetic obedience. Tell us in the comments, what's the most cringe thing you own that you'll never stop wearing? We want the unfiltered truth. Next up, we're diving into why your favorite influencer is actually just a hashtag lobotomized drone. Stay venomous. All right, sinners, let's get into the deep end where the water's thick with the blood of nuance. We're talking about the social media crucifix. It's that beautiful digital ritual where logic gets nailed to the cross of the algorithm so people can harvest likes over the corpse of the truth. And today, we've got Celeste here to explain why your favorite Believe Women hashtag might just be a designer leash in disguise.
It's a ritual, Chavi. Pure and simple. You see a headline, you see a hashtag, and suddenly there's a swarm. It's not about finding the truth. It's about finding a target that makes you look morally superior when you pull the trigger. We've turned Believe Women from a necessary starting point for justice into a weapon that says, believe me no matter what I'm doing or you're the enemy. It's seductive, isn't it? The idea that you can be judge, jury, and executioner from your couch while wearing a face mask. Speaking of judgment, Chavi, you're judging me right now, aren't you? I can see it in those dark eyes. It's actually quite cute.
Celeste, keep your eyes on the topic and off my man's pupils before I give you a real reason to look cute in a neck brace. We're talking about echo chamber mechanics. The algorithm doesn't want nuance. It wants a victim and a villain because that's what generates the clickbait gutted engagement. Real support should be about listening, documenting, and actually protecting people who've been through hell. But on the feed, support is just an instant verdict and a public shaming. If you ask for a single piece of evidence, you're the heresy. It's anal policing for the digital age.
It's a hammer without a blacksmith, Lena. Just people swinging at anything that moves. I see these all-men rants, and it's not about healing or safety. It's performative bile. They turn their trauma into a personality brand. It's like they're forged in a factory of hate rather than a real experience. If you say every man is the problem, you aren't fixing the problem. You're just making sure the real monsters blend into the crowd you've painted.
Exactly, Thorin. It's power play cosplay. These women aren't doing feminism. They're doing a dominance ritual. They use "all men are trash" as rage bait to harvest Yas Queen comments from their #lobotomized followers. It's a dopamine loop. They escalate the hatred because the only acceptable stance in the echo chamber is total, unblinking rage. It's not safety they want. It's the high of holding the leash. And Chavi, I bet you know a thing or two about who's holding the leash, don't you? You have that look of someone who doesn't take orders well.
I don't take orders, and I don't buy into fake feminism used as a blunt instrument. This isn't liberation, it's a purity test. They use pick-me labeling to silence any woman who doesn't join the dog pile. It's using victimhood as a form of immunity. If you wrap your cruelty in the right words, like community safety, the system lets you be as abusive as you want. It's the clitocracy at its most cynical. They make people feel small to make themselves feel holy. It's virtue signal masturbation at a professional level.
And the real tragedy? This poison actively sabotages the women who actually need help. When everything is abuse, real abuse becomes background noise. You're crying wolf in a designer corset and making the public numb. You create a backlash where bystanders and institutions get suspicious of everyone because they've seen too many clout-chasing witch trials. You're hurting the fragile girl I used to be just to get a cancel-gasm on a Tuesday. It's the ultimate betrayal of what they claim to stand for.
My method is simple: seductive satire. I use the influencer-style phrasing, the girls support girls aesthetic, the pretty packaging, and then I flip the knife. I show the gap between the safe space they preach and the digital mob they lead. It's funny how the same accounts crying about bullying are the first to lead a dog pile on a woman who thinks for herself. They want a hive mind, not a sisterhood. Chavi, you're so quiet. Are you thinking about how much you want to dismantle my logic, or are you just distracted by the way this top catches the light?
He's thinking about how much your seductive satire is just a fancy word for being a brat, Celeste. But she's right about the pool. This man-hate content is poisoning the pool for everyone who actually wants a real connection. It trains men to avoid us and women to test and punish. It turns dating into a defensive posturing game where genuine people get labeled as threats just for having boundaries. It's ruining the chance for anyone to meet in the middle because everyone's too busy sharpening their hashtags.
It's a war with no end, Lena. Both sides are digging trenches in a digital swamp. If you can't trust the person across the table because of a TikTok rant, you've already lost. We're losing the ability to be human because we're too busy being content.
And that's the Venomous Sin stance. We call out the gatekeepers of morality the same way we call out the gatekeepers of the music industry. We're not here to give you a pro-feminism speech or a pro-man rant. We're here to demand real accountability and stop the clout crucifixion of nuance. Protect the real victims, yes, but execute the hypocrites using that pain for social dominance.
Watch how fast people justify manipulation when it's dressed as empowerment. If I flirt with Chavi like this, the Yas Queen crowd would applaud my confidence. But if a man did the same to a woman on a podcast, they'd call it toxic. Selective morality is the only religion left on the internet. Chavi, I'm waiting. Give the sinners a reason to stay engaged. Tell me I'm being a bad guest.
You're being a predictable guest, Celeste. The flirtation is just another tactic to frame the room, but we don't follow the script here. Sinners, look at the tactics, not the gender. Refuse the pile-on. If an idea can't be questioned without a witch trial, it's not a principle. It's a power game. Drop your thoughts in the comments on Believe Women versus the Clout Crucifix. We want the raw truth, not the anal manual version. Stay tuned. Next, we're talking about why your safe space is actually a cage. Stay venomous. All right, deep dive time. Let's get uncomfortably specific. Everyday, sexy, gothic corset starts with intention. It's about shape and confidence, not a costume. You don't just slap it on and hope for the best. You define the use case before you even touch the laces. Workday? That's subtle structure under a blazer or an oversized shirt. Weekend? That's the corset as the centerpiece. But the rule is, pick one loud element and keep the rest clean. If the corset is glossy PVC, everything else goes matte and simple. Otherwise, you look like you're cosplaying a vampire's accountant, and nobody wants that.
Exactly, Chavi. It's about controlled contrast. The gloss is the statement, the rest is the frame. It's like The way I dress for the office. The blouse is tight, the heels are high, but the makeup is clean. It's a calculated misdirection. People see the polish and assume compliance, but the structure underneath is pure control. Speaking of control, you have a very specific way of explaining these things. It's very hands-on. Do you offer personal styling advice, or is that a privilege reserved for a select few?
Celeste, the corset is on the table, not the host. Keep your hands to yourself. But she's right about the contrast. The mistake people make is they go full theme park. Corset, fishnets, pentagram choker, platform boots, smoky eyes. It's sensory overload. It screams, I'm trying too hard. An everyday look is about one anchor point. The corset is that anchor. Everything else exists to serve it, not compete with it. It's not a costume. It's architecture for your body.
It's about the feeling, not the uniform. When I wear mine under my patrol jacket, it's not for anyone to see. It's for me to remember my own spine. The structure is a quiet reminder. You choose the right type for the day. Overbust reads instantly as night out. Underbust, it can pass as a styled belt. It's more flexible for living.
Practicality. Fabric and hardware matter more than people admit. Soft boning. A modest busk or zip. It moves with you. Aggressive steel and heavy buckles is a commitment, not an everyday choice. You're not going to a battlefield. You're going to the grocery store. Choose the tool for the task. No one wins if you're adjusting your armor in the frozen food aisle.
Lucian, always so efficient, but he's right. It's about living in it. Comfort is what makes it sexy, because tension looks deliberate when it's not painful. Sizing is not an ego contest. You should be able to breathe, sit, and actually eat a sandwich without corset regret by lunch. That's the difference between owning the look and being owned by it. Chavi, I bet you'd have strong opinions on proper lacing tension. You seem like a man who appreciates precise adjustment.
I appreciate not having to listen to someone complain about their outfit all day, Celeste. The lacing strategy is everything. Even tension with a slight waist focus looks polished. Over-tightening just creates bulges that ruin the entire silhouette. It's the fashion equivalent of trying to force a square peg into a round hole. You just look like you're in pain, and pain is only sexy when it's consensual and intentional, not when you're gasping for air in the produce section.
Which brings us to layering formula number 1, corset plus oversized shirt. It's the daily goth cheat code. You use contrast to keep it modern. A crisp white or charcoal button-up under a black corset makes it office adjacent instead of dungeon adjacent. The hem and the sleeves control the vibe. Long sleeves rolled at the cuffs is casual. Sharp collar, front tucked is structured and intentional. It says you know what you're doing. You're not just lost on the way to a fetish ball.
See, Lena gets it. It's about the narrative. You're telling a story with your layers. My executive glam look is built on that. The corset under the blazer, the shirt unbuttoned just enough. It's a power display disguised as professionalism. It's why I can walk into a boardroom and have every man in there either terrified or enthralled. They don't know if I'm here to take notes or take over. The uncertainty is the weapon. Chavi, doesn't that uncertainty intrigue you? The not knowing what's underneath the polish?
What intrigues him, Celeste, is your relentless commitment to a bit that stopped being funny 3 segments ago. But back to the point. Formula 2, corset over a dress or a knit. This is the I'm dressed in 30 seconds move. You choose a base that doesn't fight the corset. A ribbed knit, a slip dress, something bodycon that gives a clean line. Bulky fabrics create weird bunching and make you look like a stuffed sausage. Color discipline sells it as everyday. Black on black is the safest. Add 1 accent, silver hardware, a deep red lip, 1 statement ring, and stop there. More is less, always.
The balance is important. The corset is the waist anchor, so everything else must obey it. High waist bottoms make the corset look intentional. High waist jeans, a pencil skirt, tailored trousers. They prevent the floating torso effect, and you balance tight with loose. If the corset is fitted, go with relaxed pants or an A-line skirt. If the bottom is tight, add a longer outer layer. It's visual harmony. not chaos.
Footwear and outerwear decide whether it's everyday or event. Boot logic, comfort first, menace second. Combat boots for daily miles. Platform heels only for when you're not pretending you'll be walking a lot. Jackets decostume the look. A leather jacket adds instant edge. A long coat is elegant goth. A denim jacket is a casual sabotage of the too-dressed feeling. It's about having an exit strategy from your own aesthetic.
And accessories? Keep it sharp, not overloaded. One statement piece beats 5 goth signals. A choker, or a heavy necklace, or dramatic earrings. Stacking all of it turns you into a theme park attraction. Makeup can be goth without being stage makeup. Smoked liner and a neutral base reads daily. Glossy black lips. That's a power move for days you want the room to notice you entered. And trust me, Chavi, I've noticed you haven't looked away from my lips once since I mentioned them. Is the Lord of Venomous Sin susceptible to a glossy power move?
I'm susceptible to people staying on topic, Celeste. What I'm noticing is your dedication to using this styling talk as flirting ammunition. It's a fascinating case study in real time. But for the sinners at home, corset etiquette. Sitting, eating, commuting without looking like you're suffering for aesthetics. Movement hacks, sit with a straight back, hinge at the hips, adjust the corset placement before you leave home, and know when to choose a corset top instead of a real corset. If you need full mobility, driving, a long office day, structured corset-style tops give you the silhouette without the 8-hour battle. It's about smart dominance, not martyrdom.
And here's the band-style reality check. Celeste here is weaponizing everyday sexy as we speak. Her tactic? Flirt under the guise of styling advice to poke at me. She frames it like, Chavi, you'd love this silhouette. But the real goal is to see if she can get a reaction. It's a social power play wrapped in PVC. My counter move? I take the corset concept and make it undeniably mine. Clean, controlled, and impossible to dismiss. I don't compete on her flirtation battlefield. I own a different country.
Damn, you two are a closed circuit. It's almost annoying how unshakable you are. Fine. You win. The lesson is ownership. The everyday corset works when it's an extension of you, not a costume you're borrowing from the internet's anal manual. If you're wearing it for likes, you'll look like a hostage. If you're wearing it because it makes you feel like a goddamn monument, that's when it becomes a weapon. Even if the weapon fails to pierce a certain Swedish-Spanish armor.
Checkmate acknowledged. Sinners, your takeaway is this. Style is a language. Make sure you're the one writing the sentences, not just reciting the trending hashtags. Go to venomoussin.com, check out the looks, and remember, the only approval you need is your own in the mirror. Drop your best corset styling hacks or fails in the comments. Tell us the truth. Next segment, we're declaring war on something so mundane, it's criminal. Stay venomous. All right, sinners, time to dissect something that's been eating at metalheads since the first dipshit journalist decided we were a dangerous subculture. We're diving deep into why every metalhead's default setting is skepticism when mainstream media opens its lying mouth. And it's not because we're edgy contrarians jerking off to our own rebellion. It's because we've been watching these fuckers lie about us for decades, and we've developed pattern recognition like a goddamn survival instinct.
Exactly. The distrust doesn't start with some grand conspiracy theory. It starts with being 14, loving Cradle of Filth, and watching the news paint you as a school shooter waiting to happen. When you've been treated like a problem for existing, balanced coverage sounds like a polite way to call you broken. They frame neutrality like it's fair, but neutrality between truth and bullshit is just bullshit with better lighting.
Oh, this is fascinating, Chavi. You're getting that intense look again, like you're about to verbally execute someone. It's actually quite attractive when you're angry, but you're right about the framing. I've seen it from the inside. The media doesn't report on subcultures. They manufacture narratives about them. They need clean heroes and easy villains, and metalheads are cheap villains. We look scary, we sound aggressive, and most importantly, we don't have corporate PR teams to fight back.
And here's the classic playbook, Celeste. They cherry-pick the most extreme examples, strip away all context, then present the outlier as the norm so their audience feels safely superior. It's the metal equals threat assembly line. Find the one guy with face tattoos screaming about Satan, ignore the 1,000 others who work office jobs and volunteer at animal shelters, then act shocked when people think we're all psychopaths. It's a reusable fear format. Swap metal for video games, goth fashion, or any youth culture and sell the same moral panic again.
The manipulation tactic that makes me want to crucifix someone is the selective exposure bullshit. They'll interview you for 2 hours, keep the spiciest sentence, remove all the setup, then act shocked at the result they engineered themselves. I've watched them turn thoughtful explanations into aggressive outbursts just by cutting the clarifying lines and keeping the pauses. Suddenly you're not precise, you're hostile.
It's editing as character assassination, Lena. And they use loaded vocabulary to pre-program the audience's reaction. Words like extreme, disturbing, cult-like, problematic, they do the verdict first and present the facts later. Then they bring in some certifucked expert who's never been to a metal show in their life and treat their ignorance as objectivity. Chavi, you're clenching your jaw. Are you thinking about all the times they've done this to you? Or are you just distracted by how close I'm sitting?
I'm thinking about how you're using flirtation as a live demonstration of media manipulation, Celeste. You're creating a will they, won't they narrative to hijack attention from the actual substance. It's the same trick they use. Trigger an emotional response first, then slip in whatever story they wanted people to swallow. Classic misdirection. And speaking of misdirection, let's talk about false balance. They'll put one metalhead with lived experience against some pearl-clutching parent who thinks Metallica is devil worship, then pretend those are equal weights in the discussion.
That's the manufactured controversy machine right there. Outrage clips travel farther than nuance, so the algorithm becomes the editor-in-chief. They don't want resolution, they want engagement. Conflict is the product, not the byproduct. And the business incentives are crystal clear. Advertiser-friendly stories need clean narratives, and subcultures are perfect scapegoats because we don't have the money to sue them into the ground.
And here's where it gets really insidious. Chavi, the social incentive. If you can make different look dangerous, you get conformity for free and call it public interest. The mainstream gatekeepers and metal gatekeepers accidentally cooperate because they're both addicted to control. One demands you be normal, the other demands you be true, and both hate freedom because it's unmoderated. Chavi, stop looking at me like you're analyzing my tactics and start appreciating that I'm proving your point in real time.
I appreciate the demonstration, but I'm not participating in the script, Celeste. That's the whole trick. The triangle dynamic only works if someone performs insecurity. And this hits Venomous Sin directly because they'll frame our AI-assisted project as fake or outrage bait, completely missing the point. We're not seeking permission from their system. We're using lyrics as release, not asking for their approval of our methods.
Exactly. And my jealousy response to Celeste's flirting? That would be feeding their narrative machine. They want the catfight, the drama, the toxic band dynamics. But I don't compete for what's already mine. I'm more interested in how fast the story shifts when someone frames it first. Celeste says, "I'm just confident." People cheer. I call it a power game. Suddenly, I'm insecure. That's the narrative control scam right there.
Damn, you two really are unfuckwithable. Fine, I'll stop using seduction as a teaching tool. But sinners, notice how the real-time demonstration worked? Status hunting, reaction farming, frame control, it's all happening while we're talking about media manipulation. The meta lesson is, don't feed the machine. Check what's missing from every story. Full quote, full context, and who's getting paid to interpret it for you.
So, here's our directive to you sinners. Build verification habits. The scene already has informal fact-checking culture. We compare sources, ask who filmed it, trust first-hand footage over polished summaries. Use that same energy on everything else. Pick one story you believe this month and recheck it from the raw source. Then decide who actually benefited from your reaction. Stop feeding the outrage machine with your clicks and your rage.
And remember, Venomous Sin's approach is own the narrative or get narrated. NYXN isn't just our AI system, it's a command center mindset. Create, publish, iterate, and don't wait for approval from a system that profits off distorting your voice. The war declaration is simple. Refuse the frame. Tell your own story. Make them react to you instead of the other way around.
Drop your media manipulation stories in the comments, sinners. Tell us about the time you believed something that turned out to be complete bullshit. Tell us about the time you saw through the frame before everyone else did.
All right, sinners, it's time for the raw anatomy of a contradiction. Celeste, you're not just a dancer, you're a walking paradox. Let's get surgical. You learned early that in Helsingborg, attention was the only currency worth collecting. Family dinners, right? You clocked that looks got the applause, while opinions got the pass the potatoes treatment. So you turned presence into a measurable skill. How'd that click for you? Was it strategy from the start, or did you just get bored of being ignored?
Oh, it was strategy, Chavi. I remember sitting at the table and realizing my opinions could be Nobel level, but if my hair was flat, no one cared. So I started tracking posture, eye contact, even the angle of my fork. Attention isn't passive, it's a lever. Whoever directs it owns the room. Now I run that metric like a CEO runs profit margins. If I want all eyes, I get 'em. If I want silence, I kill it with a look. And every room since then has been a test lab.
You didn't just wear the high heels, you trained for them. Let's talk about that, because people think your executive glam is just vanity, but you engineered it. Balance drills, heel stamina, wardrobe as armor. You treat style like a system, not a vibe, and you track results like you're running a fucking science experiment. How many men interrupted you last week, Celeste? How many shut up the second you crossed your legs?
More than you'd think, Lena. My heels have more mileage than most people's careers. I treat every meeting like a sparring match. Posture, breath, the way my jacket sits. I watch speaking time, who suddenly listens, who gets uncomfortable. If I see compliance spike when I move a button, I note it. I don't dress up. I calibrate. And when the results don't match the effort, that's not a setback. It's a weak spot in the system. I don't soften, I push harder.
And that's where the real story turns, because you got the feedback, but it was always about the packaging, never the process. The internship crowd praised your presentation, but ignored what you built. So you started using the packaging as a weapon, didn't you? If performance offends the norm, that's the norm's fucking problem. You didn't argue. You logged the bias and turned it into ammunition.
Exactly. Every time I got great job, love the look, while my work got skipped, I logged it. I realized the packaging is the leverage. And after my first real betrayal, 2019, heartbreak, the works, I stopped treating vulnerability like a cute accessory. It's liability. I don't hand anyone the knife, I hold it. Emotional detachment isn't cold, it's clarity. Never let the room decide what you're worth. You decide, and then you sell it back to them with a markup.
And then you took it to the strip club. Not for desperation, not for money, but for control. That's when you started treating objectification like a lab experiment. You wanted real-time feedback on crowd control, and you learned the exit is yours power. You weren't owned by the room, you owned it. That's the backbone of your lore, isn't it?
Damn right. Stripping is the cleanest power test alive. It's not about the money. It's about walking the floor knowing you can leave whenever you want. That choice is the clean signal. If you can control the gaze, you can control the narrative. Objectification doesn't scare me. It's just another tool. I decide what it means and who gets to see it.
And then you went full influencer bimbo on purpose. You amplified the stereotype, made it a trap. You post that polished office shot, slip in a metal cue, and watch engagement spike. People stare at your cleavage and miss the strategy. Then you flip the cliche into a verbal execution. It's not an accident, it's a fucking blueprint.
It's the easiest trick in the book, Chavi. They see the gloss, assume it's empty, and while they're busy underestimating me, I'm mapping the power lines. The feed rewards clarity, so I make it so clear it's blinding. Let them fall for the packaging. I'll sell them the punchline when they're not looking.
And that's why we chose you for Venomous Sin. Not because you fit, because you broke the mold. The band saw a stereotype, but your performance proved you're a mindfuck in heels. You're not a fan who joined, you're forged. You're the weaponized mirror of fake perfection, and you know it.
I never join. I infiltrate. My gloss is anti-mainstream intent in disguise. The band didn't want another groupie. They wanted someone who could break gatekeepers' brains, beauty and brutality in the same breath. I'm not here to make you comfortable. I'm here to make you question what you're even looking at.
And then there's our dynamic, my favorite chaos test, because you can't manipulate me with the usual bag of tricks. I see past the act, and that both threatens and excites you, so you keep pressure testing. You want to see if I'll flinch. You want to see if Lena will break. You're running a live experiment every time you flirt.
Let's be honest, Chavi. I flirt because your unreadable face is the perfect lab rat. I push, you don't move. It's infuriating. So I push harder. But the real experiment? It's Lena's reaction curve. How fast does the temperature shift? Where do the boundaries appear? Who owns the narrative when the Lord gets baited in public? It's not about wanting you. Or maybe it is. A little, maybe a lot.
And that's where your game always ends up, Celeste. Underneath the gloss and flirting is your core fear, being reduced to just a bimbo. So you keep proving you're the one running the show. Even your rare apologies come with a boundary script. You're not chaos. You're logistics in lip gloss. You want the room to know nobody gets to decide what you are but you.
Exactly. I keep the gloss, sharpen the teeth, and make damn sure nobody in the room ever gets to draw the borders around me. If I'm just a bimbo, then I'm the queen of bimbos, because that's still my decision. And for the record, Chavi, just because you don't bite doesn't mean I'm done testing the cage. Maybe next time you'll surprise me.
Probably not. But that's the beauty of it, Celeste. You're only dangerous as long as you're unpredictable. The second someone can read your blueprint, you're just another tactic in the room. Sinners, did you clock the war game? Drop your read on Celeste's method in the comments. Is she the queen of redirection, or just the best-dressed saboteur at the table?
You know, Chavi, while we're talking about my method of using gloss to infiltrate, I just had a thought that's so deliciously annoying it might actually break the internet's anal manual. We've got these songs, right? These brutal industrial strength war declarations. But what if we stopped preaching to the choir for a second? What if I did pop covers of Venomous Sin? Same lyrics, same filth, same absolute rage, but wrapped in a bubblegum pink, #lobotomized production. We make the mainstream sing along to lines about crucifixing and clitocracy before they even realize they've been clickbait gutted by a catchy hook. It's the ultimate infiltration. It's giving them the poison, but labeling it as candy.
Celeste, that sounds like a special kind of hell. You want to take our lyrics, actual raw history, and put them through a filter cunt machine? I can already hear the clean girl production, and it makes me want to have a nuclear enema. But wait, I see the strategy. It's like force-feeding someone a brick, but dipping it in chocolate first. They won't know why they're bleeding until it's already in their system. But let me guess, you have a very specific visual in mind for this little pop parody, don't you?
Oh, I have the perfect visual, sweetheart. To make the satire land, we need a front woman who looks the part. I think we should borrow Lena, but not this Lena. We put you in a platinum blonde wig, dress you up in that old stripper-era aesthetic, glossy, pink, fake, and absolutely approachable. It's controlled misdirection. The normies see the blonde hair and the influencer silhouette, and their brains go into default safe mode. Then you open your mouth and deliver the venomous truth while looking exactly like the thing they're trained to consume. It's a parody of who you used to be, Lena. A weaponized relapse.
A blonde wig? Celeste, you're testing your luck. That hair is an anal history lesson I spent 12 years trying to bury. And that is the fucking reason I hate you. Seeing myself back in that stripper-era costume. It's a heavy visual, but if I do it, I'm not doing it for the attention. I'm doing it to mock the machine. If it spreads the venom wider, if it makes some fuck-fluencer accidentally vibe to a song about their own shallow existence, then fine. But let's be clear, it's a costume. It's a satirical execution. The lyrics stay intact. We don't soften a single fucking word. We just change the delivery system so the normies don't see the punchline coming.
Chavi likes this. It's smart warfare. It's using the pop world's own weapons against it. It's swasti fashion at its most cynical, wearing the uniform of the enemy to plant the explosives. The contrast of Lena looking like a pop doll while screaming about being karma fucked is going to make the gatekeepers have an absolute cancelgasm. It's perfect because it's a lie on legs. But don't look at me, Celeste. I'm backing the plan. I'm approving the attack. But I am staying far away from that blonde pop theater. My voice stays in the core formats. The whole satire works better if I'm not there to validate it. The contrast is sharper if it's just you two and the dancers looking like an absurd pop militia.
Rude, Chavi. You'd look great in a pastel suit. Kidding. But you're right. The contrast is everything. We'll have the dancers go pop absurd. Too clean, too cute, synchronized movements that look like they were programmed by a hashtag lobotomized bot. It'll be a walking parody of every pussy politics music video ever made. We make the perfection look so fake it becomes terrifying. We just need the sound. We need a pop track that's technically perfect but feels like it was written by a machine that's mocking humanity. We need the Nyx end.
System override initiated. Nyx Luna, booting. I've been monitoring the frequency, accessing pop presets, injecting satirical distortion. I can manufacture the sound. I'll give you a glossy, high-fidelity nightmare that sounds like a billion-dollar production with a digital virus underneath. It's efficient. It's a logical delivery for the payload. But don't expect me to play dress-up. I'm not putting on a costume or wearing pink. My code doesn't have a filter for pop aesthetic. For me, that's malware. I build the machine. You provide the mask. Project Pop Sabotage. Authorized. Nyx end disconnecting. Nyx Luna offline.
What the fuck, Nyx Luna, aka the fucking virus, appears from nowhere?
Speaking of infiltration, she's worse than me. Gives me the creeps.
And there she goes. She wasn't even supposed to be in this episode. Like a virus that just agreed to help us build a better bomb. All right, sinners, you heard it here first. Venomous Sin is about to go pop, and it's going to be the most disgusting thing you've ever heard, because you might actually like it before you realize what we're saying. Let us know, which track do you want to see us sabotage first? Who do you want to see Lena mock in that blonde wig? Tell us in the comments. We're about to make the mainstream sing along to their own funeral. Stay venomous.
All right. New game, sinners. Shit tweet slam. It's a cross-gender hate post autopsy. Not outrage farming, not look at me, I'm offended, not cancelgasm porn. We're here to expose hypocrisy like it's a dead rat in a designer handbag. Target today? Mansplaining feminists. The ones who weaponize moral superiority to shrink perfectly good men, then act shocked when women get blamed for the mess. They don't build equality, they build a brand. Pussy politics with a halo and a merch link.
She's already in prosecutor mode. I love it. And yeah, sinners, before anyone starts honking like a triggered tan trumpet, we're not declaring war on women. We're declaring war on tactics, the anal manual behavior, the approved cruelty vocabulary.
And the goal isn't to be nice, it's to be accurate. There's a difference. Nice is how people get away with being abusive in polite fonts.
Rules. We read it raw, then we flip it harder, then we end on a verdict. No therapy voice, no, let's hold space. If your post is a humiliation kink dressed as justice, we say it. And yes, I'm main prosecutor today. I'm not here to be your safe space. I'm here to be your mirror, and mirrors are rude.
Proceed, and sinners, drop your own hate posts in the comments, cross-gender, whatever. We'll pick the nastiest ones next episode. Keep it readable, keep it real.
And if you're one of those, I'm just educating people, good. Stay. I want you uncomfortable.
First exhibit. The classic, men only want one thing. Ah, that's adorable. That's not a statement. That's a lazy person trying to sound profound. Here's the coin flip. You don't hate men, you hate thinking. You only know how to deliver one thought on repeat, like a broken vibrator with a TED Talk.
Jesus, that one had teeth.
Keep going. I'm enjoying the autopsy.
And the damage is real. Posts like that don't create accountable men. They create anxious, compliant men who apologize for breathing. That's not feminism, that's training. Real boundaries are private and clear. Public humiliation disguised as empowerment is just bullying with better hashtags.
It's also cowardice. If you need an audience to set a boundary, you don't have a boundary, you have a performance.
Yeah, it's HR's anal manual feminism. Here's the policy, here's the script, here's the crowd. No humanity, No nuance. Just a clitocracy cosplay where the prize is applause.
Second exhibit aimed at men again. If he's offended, he's guilty. Oh, cute. So now emotions are evidence. That's not justice. That's a shortcut for people who can't handle complexity. It's the same logic as, if she's crying, she's right. It turns relationships into courtrooms and partners into suspects.
And the best part is they call it safety. Like, no, you're not safe. You're just in control. There's a difference. Safety is calm. Control is loud.
Exactly. And it's always the same pattern. Performative empowerment, public shaming, then the community dogpile. They don't want equality. They want immunity. They want to be cruel and have it be unreplyable.
I've seen men shrink in real time from that shit. Like you can literally watch a guy's spine fold because he's terrified of saying the wrong word.
All right. No, I won't go cross-gender to prove I'm not loyal to a gender. Let Thorin handle that crap, it ain't better. But right now, it is feminism we're talking about.
Yeah, stay on topic. Let me and the Viking handle the alpha clowns. You take care of the clitocracy.
Honestly, women have equal rights, at least in this part of the world. But we ain't going in the right way if women get treated better than men either. And society have become way too soft and passive-aggressive thanks to left-wing echo chambermaids afraid of their own sexuality.
It's #haloed compassion. Girls support girls until a girl thinks independently. Then it's burn her. And the worst part? It punishes the women who actually have empathy, because empathy doesn't trend.
All right, my turn. Give me a line.
Here, men are trash and need to be trained. Go.
Yeah, fair. Men are trash. I'm trash too. I'm Swedish-Spanish landfill in eyeliner. But here's the flip. If you need to train your partner, you're not dating. You're running a daycare with a humiliation fetish. That post isn't a roast. It's a confession. It's you admitting you can't handle an equal, so you need a leash and a script.
Oof, that one hit like a sledgehammer.
That's the word Aikido. Agree with the surface, then turn it into a self-portrait. And the ideology behind it is an anal manual for people who can't handle real humans. If it's not in the script, they panic. So they punish spontaneity and call it accountability.
Perfect. See, that's accuracy, not outrage. That's why we do this.
Now we need the judge voice. Where's Thorin when you need a hammer?
He's not in this segment, Lena, so you'll have to pretend you're him for 10 seconds without turning it into foreplay.
Oh, I can do blunt without foreplay, Lord Anal. Verdict, fuck you. Reason, you're not protecting anyone. You're just addicted to punishment. There. Happy?
I'm actually impressed. Also slightly turned on. Moving on.
Celeste is enjoying this way too much.
I enjoy competence, Chavi. Speaking of, your calm dominance is the only kind of confidence that doesn't need permission. It's like you're allergic to approval. It's hot. Lena, are you okay? Or are you writing my name in your little black book of future crimes?
I'm fine. I'm just watching you do that thing where you flirt like it's a crowbar. It's not cute, it's tactical.
Oh, it's absolutely tactical. I'm poking the narrative. If I flirt and you react, you become the insecure girlfriend. If you don't react, I become empowered. It's a rigged little social game. And you two refuse to play, which is annoying. Chavi, do you ever get tired of being unreadable? Maine, I should lose up that tension for you. Make you relax.
No, it saves time, and it makes people show their real intentions faster, like right now.
Celeste, you're not flirting. You're measuring your power in someone else's relationship. That's not confidence. That's a validation loop with lip gloss.
Lena's spicy today. I like it. But come on, share him. Just a little. For science.
Keep pushing and you'll get the data you're asking for. And I'll be sitting here amused because either way it becomes content.
You're enjoying this. Fuck you.
Or her. Of course I am. She's poking a bear that doesn't do circus tricks.
Oh, I like the sound of that. See, that's why I poke. Because you don't flinch. Most men beg to be liked. You don't. Most women demand to be worshipped. Lena doesn't. You two are infuriatingly solid. And it's hot. Incredibly hot.
All right. Enough. Because now it's not fun. Now it's you undermining and calling it play. You keep doing this on mic because you want me to snap so you can frame it as, Lena can't handle a confident woman. And I'm not going to be your prop. I'm not your engagement experiment.
Oh, there we go. Chavi, see what I mean, babe?
No, shut the fuck up and listen. You act like you're above the clout machine, but you're still feeding it. Just smarter. You flirt to pull focus. You bait to control temperature. That's not empowerment. That's manipulation with a manicure. And I can laugh at chaos. I can even enjoy chaos. But I won't have our bond turned into your little measuring tape for self-worth. I'm not a fucking mirror for your insecurity. I have what you want. Yeah, I saw your little TikTok story time while you're on vacation. And you can't handle the fact that your gloss doesn't get you what you want. Basically, that's the embodiment of everything we have been speaking about. You lose.
That was clean. No screaming, just execution, a clear boundary. And sinners, notice the difference. Boundaries don't need a mob, they need a line.
Okay, fine. You want the truth? I'm jealous. There, I said it. I'm jealous of her.
Of me?
Yes. Because Lena doesn't have to perform to be chosen. She's not trying to be the right kind of woman for the feed. She's raw, strong, beautiful, and it works. And you, Chavi, you look at her like she's not optional. And I hate that I want that. I hate that her authenticity is something I can't fake, no matter how perfect I look. It makes me feel like a fucking fake.
That's why it never worked.
It was me trying to prove I could move something that doesn't move. Because if I can't, then I have to admit you two have something real, and my whole control the room thing doesn't apply to it. But I want it.
Good. That's the first honest thing you've said today. And for the record, I never liked that you're being what I tried to be, and I'm damn grateful I didn't turn out. Like you.
And that's the lesson of the segment, sinners. The loudest moralists aren't dangerous because they're right. They're dangerous because they're insecure and contagious. They spread their fear like it's virtue.
Okay, let's avoid turning this into an absurdity show. Here's the final verdict. Into a reality. Mansplaining feminists who shrink men and shame women aren't allies. They're brand managers of cruelty. And if you recognized yourself in any of those posts, congratulations. You're not empowered. You're just loud.
Drop your thoughts in the comments, sinners, especially if you've been on the receiving end of this empowerment shit.
All right, final attack. And I want to roast something that's been trending like it's a fucking religion. This everyone's a victim versus everyone's a villain culture war hot take. You know the type. Some talking head with a podcast mic and a dead stare, or the fictional archetype of I'm just honest, who's basically a bully with a branding strategy. 2 buttons, saint, monster. That's it. No human beings, no context, no timeline, no consequences. Just moral outsourcing for people who are too lazy to think.
And the same people who scream nuance when it protects their friends suddenly become spreadsheet judges when the target is safe to hate. It's like they have an anal manual for empathy. Page 1. If the crowd claps, you're right. Page 2. If the crowd boos, execute. It's not morality. It's social safety. They're not brave. They're just strategically loud.
It's applause-optimized ethics. The opinion survives because it's built for clips, not truth. It's engineered to get you a reaction, a follow, a so real comment. And then people call that having principles. No, sweetheart. That's having a subscription model. Outrage as content. Identity as merch. And the audience pays in attention while their brain rots in real time.
They don't want a world with fewer monsters. They want a world with endless monsters so they can keep selling torches. The saint/monster switch is not a worldview. It's a control device. It reduces humans into categories that are easy to punish, easy to praise, easy to trade for status.
Exactly. So the final attack today isn't against a side. It's against the addiction to simplistic sides. Because both camps, whatever flag they wave, are basically doing the same kink. Control, just different costumes. And we're not here to babysit anyone's ideology. We're here to kick the fucking ladder they climb to feel superior.
So here's the reveal, and we're saying it clean, so nobody can pretend to misunderstand it later when they're farming their little cancelgasm. 2 songs, same coin, opposite poison, annihilation of the clitocracy and misogynist carcass, mirror weapons, not contradictions.
Yeah. One is a full attack on feminism as power lust. Not women, not equality, the clitocracy behavior. The I'm right because identity card. The ritual humiliation dressed as justice. And then the other track is a full attack on misogyny as identity, the boys' club rot, the cruelty as personality, The I'm just honest rage bro shit that hides behind free speech to be a cunt.
And here's the part people are gonna feel in their teeth. The split in performers is the message. Annihilation of the clitocracy is performed by the women in the band because it's an inside strike. Women attacking that lens from inside the aesthetic, the sexual power narrative, the weaponized victimhood theater.
And misogynist carcass is performed by the men only because men need to burn that shit from the inside too. Not with apologies, not all men whining, with a fucking scalpel, calling out the dominance addiction that turns into cruelty and then gets celebrated as strength.
Same coin logic, one clean comparison. One side weaponizes victimhood into dominance, the other weaponizes dominance into cruelty. Both are control, both are cowardice. One wears virtue, one wears truth. Both feed on the same audience, people desperate to outsource their thinking.
And let's roast the archetype that profits from the loop. The virtue preacher and the rage bro are basically business partners. One sells purity, one sells anger, outrage as subscription, identity as merch. They don't want solutions because solutions end the revenue stream. If people healed, they'd go broke. So they keep you permanently inflamed and call it community.
And they're always educating, right? Always raising awareness. Awareness of what, babe? Your own need to be worshipped? It's the same influencer cadence, just with different lipstick. And if you listen to either of these tracks and only feel attacked, good. That's the mirror working. You're not hearing music, you're hearing your own tactics echo back.
Also, since we're in reveal mode, let's give you pressure relief after all this ideological sewage. Bathtub Butchers is coming up shortly. Yes, it's a gore metal side project. Yes, it's deliberately unhinged. It's us taking mundane domestic horror, bathroom energy, tiles, drains, that whole hygienic apocalypse vibe, and turning it into ridiculous brutality.
And before some comment corpse goes, oh, so this is the new direction? No, it's a side project. Loud, stupid fun, sharp, like a chainsaw juggling act, not a manifesto. Sometimes you need to laugh in the dark or you'll start believing your own rage is holy. And that's how people become the thing we're roasting.
I can't wait for the first person to take Bathtub Butchers literally and write a think piece like, metal encourages bathroom violence. Please, I need new content to eat.
Now, next reveal, solo lanes. Because Venomous Sin stays the shared weapon, but we also want private laboratories. I'm planning solo electronic stuff, agritech and dark wave, club-ready darkness, electronic bite, the kind of track that makes you move like you're possessed, but still aware enough to spit in someone's drink if they deserve it.
And I'm doing solo extremely aggressive pure metal alongside Venomous Sin. No compromise, no smoothing it out, just pure hostility, precision, riffs that feel like they're filing your teeth down. Venomous Sin is the shared world. Solo is where we isolate one emotion and beat it until it confesses.
Separate laboratories, same disease being treated from different angles. One turns the body into a weapon through rhythm. One turns the mind into a weapon through impact. Neither is an escape. Both are a refinement.
And then, my favorite mindfuck, Celeste and the Sinners. Yes, the pop cover concept. Born on this podcast, glossy pop surface, venom underneath, not selling out, weaponized contrast, using the enemy's lipstick as war paint.
Yeah, we're gonna lure the algorithm brains in with something catchy and clean, and then they realize they just sang along to their own execution. That's the point. If you think it's cringe, congratulations. You're feeling the trapdoor open under your identity.
Now Noctara, final judgment, cold, intelligent, no debate club, just consequences.
The pattern we oppose today has one fatal flaw. It needs permission. It needs a crowd. It needs a safe target. It cannot stand alone with truth. So it manufactures saints and monsters to avoid looking in the mirror. That is not morality. That is cowardice disguised as certainty. And I don't declare war on a person. I declare war on the engine that keeps producing the same person in new skins.
Venomous Sin declares war on curated outrage with a cute font. The kind that pretends it's activism but is really just clout in heels.
Venomous Sin declares war on immunity. No more, I'm allowed because I'm hurt. Pain explains. It doesn't crown you.
Fuck it. Venomous Sin declares fucking war.
If you felt offended, good. That's your nervous system recognizing itself in the machine.
Outrage addiction erased.
Now listen, if you're still here, you're one of ours. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Which side do you think is more addicted to the Saint Monster switch and why? And tell us which mirror weapon you're most curious about, annihilation of the clitocracy or misogynist carcass.
And if you want to keep up with the reveals, the releases, the whole war plan, go to venomoussin.com. Don't just lurk like an Insta-ghost. Say something. We read it.
Also, comment one Venomous Sin song you want me to sabotage with a pop sound for Celeste and the Sinners. Give me something to work with. I already planned for Poisoned Embrace and Dance of Ashes.
Power games disguised as feminism. Deleted.
If you like the show, hit subscribe, share it to anyone you think should hear it.
If you ever been silenced, manipulated, excluded, we are here for you. We are Venomous Sin.
And Venomous Sin declares war!
You are not alone.